Back to Peter Doherty in Brisbane now, where a high-speed police pursuit is underway. Pete, what do we know?
And he's heading south, still heading south.
Talitha, this is...
Through the roundabout, heading south, continuing along Oxley Road towards the...
Talitha, this is Oxley Road on Brisbane's south side. This BMW has been pursued for around 90 minutes. We've had a couple of hair-raising moments in the last few seconds while we were in the commercial break as they went round roundabouts, a couple of near misses. This chase began 90 minutes ago in the suburbs of Ipswich. It's pretty well done in orbit of the city. We're currently on Oxley Road, just past the golf course a moment ago, and police have been unable to get close to this vehicle. They've had a few near misses. They keep backing off, and they're relying currently on the Ch7 News helicopter, which has been relaying the latest information. You can see them there entering that roundabout. A short time ago, this white BMW met up with a second stolen BMW, and the two were driving through the streets of Indooroopilly trying to evade police. Those vehicles have now separated, and we're back concentrating with this white BMW. It has between 4 and 5 people in it. It began, as I said, around 90 minutes ago in the Ipswich area. Police were out on several roads deploying stingers, trying to shred the vehicle's tyres. That was unsuccessful. It was just too erratic. It was doing U-turns, it was going down roads and doing U-turns over pedestrian middle banks and heading back. So they've had a real difficult time keeping up with this vehicle. Now, thankfully, it's a public holiday in Brisbane. The roads, as you can see, not much traffic on these areas, but it has literally been through dozens and dozens of suburbs from Ipswich through the southern areas of Brisbane and Mount Gravatt, back into the city, around the western suburbs, and look, any moment, you don't know from one moment to the next, Talitha, what could happen as this vehicle travels at high speed through the suburbs of Brisbane.
Pete, it's driving through some fairly heavily populated suburbs. Has there been any contact made?
Look, remarkably, for the amount of time this has been going, there's been very little contact between it and other cars or it and other people. So, you know, that is a massive blessing as they're ripping around. You can see there now one of those signs. It could head back towards Ipswich, or it could go back into our Brisbane southern suburbs. Police haven't been able to get close to this vehicle despite us relaying information, but the fact we're on air now live means in the police communication centre in Brisbane, they will be looking at these pictures and hopefully they'll be able to corral their vehicles to build a cordon around this white BMW and to stop this chase before it comes to a very unpredictable and horrific outcome. And that's obviously what everyone wants to avoid. While this is going on, there is that other black BMW which hasn't been sighted for a number of minutes, but this white BMW has been the primary focus of the search. Now, also making it slightly difficult, it's being passed from different police districts to different police districts, so that means a change of communication centre. It started out in the Ipswich area and then was passed across to the southern Brisbane Communication Centre, and that's where it's been for the last half an hour. Now, the first part of the chase was mainly on highways now and major thoroughfares. For the last 15 minutes, they've been sticking to the back streets. Now, they even went into the South Bank area of Brisbane, a very heavily populated area where lots of people have been out today enjoying the absolutely spectacular Easter weather. But thankfully, people have been able to keep out of the way of this vehicle thus far. But it is obviously late afternoon. You know, they want to get this vehicle before darkness falls. And look, the progress of this vehicle has been very erratic. Now, obviously, they know they're being pursued. There's been helicopters in the sky for 90 minutes. So where they're heading, we'll just have to watch the screen and see.
OK, thank you, Pete. Let's hope it ends safely. We go live to Brisbane now for the latest on the high-speed police chase through the city. Reporter Peter Doherty joins me live now. Pete, what's the latest?
You're looking at live pictures of a police chase which has been going on in Brisbane for at least the last hour and a half. It now involves 2 stolen vehicles, a BMW, which is that white vehicle. In the last 10 minutes, it's linked up with another black BMW, and currently those vehicles are on Brisbane's south side. This chase began an hour and a half ago in the suburbs of Ipswich. It wound its way through the southern suburbs of Brisbane, suburbs like Mount Gravatt, around the shopping centre there. It then headed into the city and went through the very heart of the CBD, then onto Coronation Drive. It's now moved its way back around into Brisbane's western suburbs. Actually, most of the suburbs you're seeing now are the suburbs that were impacted by the floods last January when we were broadcasting live. Now we're bringing you this chase. Now, police have been following at a safe distance. Many cars have picked this vehicle up and then lost it, but the entire time the Ch7 helicopter has been relaying information to the police communication centre on the latest whereabouts of the car. Now, we've had a lot of trouble because in Queensland, some of the police districts in Brisbane have converted to a digital communications network which we aren't able to communicate with, but in the Ipswich area we are able to communicate directly with those police officers. But we now have the communications centre on the phone, and that's allowing our crew in the chopper to give minute by minute, street by street updates on where this BMW has been going. Now, we think there's around 4 to 5 people in that vehicle. We understood earlier today there were a couple of these BMWs stolen, a white BMW and a black BMW. So all day, police in southeast Queensland have been on the lookout for both vehicles. They found this white one out near Ipswich around 90 minutes ago, and then mysteriously around 15 minutes ago, the white and the black car linked up around the suburb of Indooroopilly. So you had both these stolen vehicles leading police on a chase through the suburbs. That black and white car around 5 minutes ago separated as they were confronted by another police car. You can see now they're going street to street in suburban areas. There's been so many near misses in the past 90 minutes. We've seen this car go onto the wrong side of the road. We've seen it overtake on a highway around trucks with oncoming cars. We've seen it close to footpaths. There have been so many near misses. Remember, it's Monday afternoon here. It's late at afternoon. There are kids playing on these streets. If you are in those southern suburbs, get your kids away from the TV outside. If you have to, stick them in front of the TV, but don't let them out on the road. And to anyone on Brisbane's south side, be aware this car is all over the place.
In Brisbane now, and Pete, we're hearing there's been an arrest over the police pursuit there.
Yes, Talitha, the car you're looking at, by the way, the photographers have been taking photos of it. It appears that there has been an arrest. This follows a marathon, almost 2-hour police chase across Brisbane. Now, police have been at pains to point out to us it wasn't that they couldn't catch up to the car, it was because of the rules about their pursuits that they weren't willing to risk it. The car went into the Mount Omni shopping centre where there's been a foot chase, and it appears there has been at least one arrest after this marathon chase in Brisbane. That person's in that car. We'll have all the details coming up in 7 News at 6.
Okay, thankfully it's ended safely. Thank you, Peter Doherty there in Brisbane.